Hello. Oh, we already have 3 viewers. Yay. Welcome. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. If you are on Facebook, you can comment and we can read those comments and questions to our author. We're so excited. I'm coming to you from snowy Maryland, so I'm all bundled up because we've had about 4 to 5 inches of snow here, and I know that's been across the U.S. in a lot of areas. So we are grateful to have you join us for Lisa Ard's debut historical fiction novel that we are so excited to have published. Today is launch day, and are you excited about your book being out, Lisa?
Very much, yeah. What a great day. It's been a long time coming.
Well, it's been a labor of love. Everything that you've put into this book, there's so much that we want to talk about. And if you have any questions as we go, please put them in. We will get to them as we go. And any congratulations. Kate Bowden says yay. So
Hi, Kate.
We're happy to have you. So Lisa, the first question I really have is a question that really pertains to your book. So this is a labor of love. And when I say it's a labor of love, I know that that's true for you because this story has special significance.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that, your inspiration and that special significance?
It is very significant. This is a story based on my great-great-grandmother's life in Western North Carolina in the 1880s. And I knew a little bit about her because I knew her daughter, my great-grandmother. But when I got into some genealogy research for my family, that's when I really discovered Alice's story through the numbers. I figured out that she was 30 years old when she got married and that she and 3 other sisters were married very quickly. And a little more digging led to other significant dates. And I thought, boy, there's a story here. And yes, there is. So
definitely. It's a fabulous story. I really love how you were able to write about that time period because the Reconstruction era is not exactly one that's written about a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to write about the Civil War, but not after the Civil War.
Right.
So I really like how you did that, how you wrote about her family and the hardships that they had after the Civil War that a lot of people might not fully understand when they had to find spouses. They had to get married because things were not the way that they were before the war.
And that's another reason that I came to this story is I was debating writing it and I was talking about it with my son who was college age. And he was in a sociology class and talking about how little he knew about the African-American experience, that he learned about the Civil War and learned about the civil rights movement in the 1960s and nothing in between. And I thought, the story is in between. I can tell a story about not only Alice, but about Asheville, about the South, about the climate, political climate, economic, cultural climate in our country at that time.
Definitely. And it's so important to be told. It's so important for it to be out there. Kathy Anderson says, congratulations, Lisa. I can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy it. So I ask this question a lot to authors, but with you, I want to ask it a slightly different way because I always ask them, well, what was the most fun or what was the most, difficult part to write? But knowing that this story was so close to your heart and so close to your ancestry, was there a part that was difficult to write research-wise? And was there a part that was difficult to write emotionally?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jean. Definitely the hardest part of writing this book was the racist elements in the story and portraying, quite honestly, my great-great-grandmother as a racist woman, which, I'd love to have portrayed her as this progressive, no prejudices woman, but that just wasn't realistic to the times. She came from a family that had owned a slave. She married into a family that had had a lot of slaves. And so it just wasn't realistic to the time. And I had to be true to the history.
Definitely. So. Definitely. Was there a part that you had to do a lot of research on that you weren't familiar with prior?
Yeah, actually, the political parties was really confusing to me because I think we're all familiar with the Democrats and the Republicans today, but it was almost flip-flopped during that time period, right? So the Democrats were the party in the South that supported slavery,
Mhm.
and the Republicans were more of the abolitionists. And then there were other smaller political parties as well. So keeping all that straight in my mind, I mean, I was literally mapping it out, trying to keep straight who was on what side and what they stood for. So definitely.
That's good to remember because things were different back then. Is there a character that you really related to more?
Hmm. Probably Alice. I read a funny quote that all first authors put a lot of themselves into their main character. And I have to say that she's a little bit bossy. She thinks she knows the best way to do things. And I have to say that's a little bit of me too, showing up in Alice. I did just get a message from someone who said that it showed that it had not started yet. Is that true, Jean? I don't know if you're seeing people come in.
I'm seeing people comment on Facebook, so
Okay.
yeah, because all of our comments come from Facebook,
Okay.
and I did see it on Twitter as well.
All right. I'll reach out to them later with the.
Yep. And Stephanie says, I can't wait to read this. Your research is astounding. I like that word.
Thank you.
It is. And what you've put into this, including in the back, there's all the references that you used.
Mhm.
So you can really see how much work you put into this to make it as close to the time period as your research allowed. And I love that you did that because it gives it I don't always see in historical novels all the sightings, and you providing that really gives it an extra that I
Right.
think you don't always see in historical fiction. So I like that.
I think that's one of the great things about historical fiction is that it inspires me when I read it to go off and learn more. And so I appreciate knowing at the end of a historical fiction novel, you know, what's true and what is added in to make a story, right? And then,
Exactly.
you know, a lot of times it sparks me to go do some research.
Exactly. So I'm learning that the link in the ticket tail to the RSVP is not working. So people are going directly to Facebook. So if anyone says it's not working, tell them to go directly to the Facebook link.
Okay. Okay.
And that will get them there. Some people aren't getting sound. Hopefully that will fix. Well, this will be on YouTube tomorrow. So we will just went dark. Well, it is being recorded. It will be on YouTube tomorrow for anyone that wants to rewatch as well. I'm sorry that we're having some technical difficulties. I don't know exactly why. I know that my area has just had a winter storm, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but okay, so that says that we're back. Okay, well, maybe it'll just go in and out. Well, hopefully it'll fix itself. So I know that you have some excerpts for us to listen to. Would you like to read one of them right now?
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll start with the beginning of the book. And I do want to just explain to people who haven't had the chance to read the book that in front of each chapter, I've included a quote from a periodical from the era. So that could be a magazine, a book, a newspaper article. And I've done that to tell a little bit about the time period, a little bit about Asheville's history. So I'll start with that. And this is a quote from a periodical called The Farmer and Mechanic. Quote, at Asheville, for 2 days past, the Iron Horse had made his regular trip to Asheville Depot. It is a great event, this opening of railway facilities to the heart of the mountain region. Unquote. Chapter 1, Asheville, 1882. The dressmaker probably saw every kind of bride, joyful, nervous, excited, even frightened. yet rarely two sisters on the same day, and seldom ones of our advanced age. At 30 years old, I'd long since abandoned the idea of marriage. The war had ended when I was 13, and with battlefields turned to cemeteries, the marriage prospects in the South had dimmed considerably. I didn't favor the title spinster, but I valued my independence, especially now as it slipped from my grasp. Shoulder, Miss Harris? Miss Shackton asked. You might wear it after the wedding. Yes, thank you. It'll make a fine church dress. My cheeks warmed at the suggestion for thrift. My thoughts thundered over my family's losses. A hastily arranged marriage to a man I barely knew was my only option.
I like how that really sets up the novel. It really sets up how she's going in, and her sister even going into these arranged marriages. And I like something that you did throughout this book that really added something to it for me, and that's the letters.
Yeah.
And the letters that were written back and forth between Alice and her sister.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun to write. And
I think that
romantic letters that come later.
Yes, and it really adds something to the story. We have Sandy says, "Wow, excited to read this book after listening to that excerpt."
Thank you.
It is an amazing book, and I do want to shout out one thing to this book. If you have a copy of it, especially now it's in the ebook as well, and we made sure that it showed up right in the ebook, but it's in the paperback as well, and that your daughter contributed to this book.
She did, yes. My daughter is an artist, and she designed the ornamental break. And a big shout out to Jean and all the people at Creative James Media for allowing my daughter to design that break that occurs throughout the text within the book.
Definitely. I just think that added something to it.
Yeah, it was really fun because I reached out to Molly and I said, hey, this is a Southern novel. What do you think about like a magnolia branch? She said, sure, I can do that. And about 10 minutes later, I had a design. I was like, oh my gosh.
She's amazing. She's amazing. And I love the design.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for writers of historical fiction? Because I know it's different than writing a fantasy novel or a romance novel. There's a different approach to it. So can you talk to new writers who might be wanting to write this kind of a novel?
Right. And I struggled with a couple things. One is just keeping tabs on all the research, right? You read a lot of different background books and newspapers and periodicals, and then how to make sense of it all. I use a big Excel spreadsheet so that I can search and sort and find things, but it's still, you know, if someone has a better way, reach out to me, please, because I'm not sure it's the best way. And then the other thing that I had to do a little research around is that because there are real people in this novel and some well-known people, I had to make sure that I wasn't, you know, legally in trouble with talking about these people or inventing things that they said. So I did get a little bit of legal advice on that. So I think those two things are what come to mind for me.
Definitely. Definitely. What do you want readers to take away from your writing?
Well, of course, this is a project near and dear to my heart because it is my great-great-grandmother's story, but it's also, I feel like it's such a relevant book for readers today because there are parallels between the 1880s and today in terms of the political climate, economics, cultural and societal, you know, changes that we're undergoing. So I really hope that book clubs in particular will access the discussion guide in the back of the book and reach out to me. I'm going to be offering author visits to book clubs, and I would love to come and discuss, you know, behind the scenes, who's, you know, what are the real people and places in the novel? What are the parallels between today and then?
Definitely. That is it's a great book for book clubs, and it's great that we have that in the back of the book that you designed that, because then it's easy for book clubs to pick it up and then just go with it. And the topics are so relevant that I just think it would make an excellent book club book.
Right. I mean, There's women's rights,
Yeah,
racism, the rise of public education,
exactly.
the political battles, embezzlement by businesses. There's a lot in there, kind of tucked in side stories, but I think it'll draw readers' attention.
I think it will too. I did want to say something that I don't think that I've told you yet, but we have decided we are going to Williamsburg Book Festival. And sorry, that was my son's school about tomorrow. We are going to the Williamsburg, Virginia Book Festival the end of February, as CJM is, and we can only bring so many books. So we can't feature all of our authors. So they made us choose which ones that we wanted to bring, and we chose your book to be represented there.
Oh, thank you.
So it will be represented in the Williamsburg Book Festival February 24th.
Oh, thank you, Jean. That's terrific.
I'm really excited to have your book down there. And being it's a historical book in an historical area, I thought that would, go very well. And that would be a great audience for your book.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're very excited. So Sandy's asking, will there be future books on the same topic?
That's a good question. My mom wants to know the same thing. I am debating a sequel which would follow my great-grandmother and her journey. Yeah.
Yes, Jen, Williamsburg, Virginia is where we will be on February 24th. So we're excited about that. But if you have any other questions, you can put them there in the comments. Oh, Jen's daughter's in Williamsburg, so she's going to let her know. Come by the Creative James Media table, and we will have Lisa's book and a few others. I wish we could represent all of our authors there, but they're not allowing that. They made us pick.
Mm-hmm.
So because they want to do publicity and really focus on.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's very exciting. When I got the note that they accepted us this year, I was very excited. So I can't wait to go. So let me see. Okay. So I think we're at the point. Oh, wait, we have another question. What foods would be a good, what foods would be good for a book club menu to eat along reading your book?
You know what? Alice makes her new husband a flat apple pie. So that would be a perfect thing to serve at a book club.
I like that.
Yeah.
As this is written about your family, are there topics you purposefully left out?
No, not really. I was fortunate to meet a second cousin when I was going down that genealogy rabbit hole on Ancestry, and she had done a lot of her own research. And so she helped fill in some of the holes. So I got a lot more, not only from Ancestry, but from Susan as well. And she's mentioned in the back of the book, a lot of pictures. I'll be sharing those pictures with book clubs when I do visits to show them pictures of Alice, pictures of the other real people, and a lot of the historic homes that occur in the book.
And at the beginning of one of the chapters, we have a picture.
That's right. Yeah. That's the Carter Swain house.
Were there any details about this time, place, or your family that you learned about that surprised you?
That's a good question. Probably the fact that Alice's family ran an inn on the Drovers Road. So that was not a term that was familiar to me, but before the railroad arrived in Asheville, farmers would take their herds of animals to the coastal markets by walking them. So it was days and days of travel, and they would have these drovers who drove the animals along. And of course, every 10 miles or so, they had to stop and feed the animals and stay overnight. And Alice's family, the Harris Inn, was on one of those pathways.
Nice. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat. I think we're time for the second reading.
Okay. So for this next reading, Alice and her husband live just outside of Asheville. This is about midway through the book. And when they go to Asheville to visit, they stay with Alice's mother's cousin, Mary. So in this scene, Alice is trying to get something from Mary. Mary puffed up. We are living in modern times. Did you know there's talk of telephones in Asheville? My cousin's question was a well-wrapped gift placed in my lap. My goodness, what a statement that would make to have a telephone, I said. My cousin did her best to keep up appearances. While Mary was more adept at calling cards and visits, a telephone would mark her as a modern woman. I will speak to Stuart, as I will surely want one to conduct business. I seized the moment. Times are changing. Mary relaxed on the love seat. I admire your work with the many ladies groups here in Asheville. The Flower Society, the new hospital. Why, you're keeping up with changing times. I paused and then feigned surprise. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Cousin, I must introduce you to Miss Peterson and Miss Shackton. Your connections in society would help the public school campaign immensely. I widened my eyes and rounded my mouth. Just think how far the movement would progress with you behind it. I hoodwinked my cousin as a means to an end. If I could help move public schools forward in Asheville, perhaps I could figure out how to bring one to Democrat. Mary shifted beside me. I breathlessly awaited the next move. Would she bite? Her response poured forth like molasses onto a biscuit. I have a good number of contacts that might be of help. Of course you do. I have kept up with the talk, Alice. The current efforts are disorganized, and a powerful voice could bring groups together. Oh, Mary, I can't think of a better person to be that voice.
Thank you. That was a great reading. So we have another question. Have you had a chance to visit some of the places you identified in the story?
I have. I took a trip out to Asheville, and I went out to the small town of Democrat, which is also called Big Ivy. Had a wonderful time. I was trying to locate the cemetery and landed in on the small church, probably like, I don't know, a couple hundred people live in this area. And this old gentleman walked me up to the cemetery, helped me find all the Carter graves. And then he ended up taking me over to have coffee with his wife.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to visit the Carter Swain House and also the Reynolds Mansion, which is a historic bed and breakfast now in Asheville, and it makes an appearance in the book as well.
That's really nice. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are going to be wrapping up our time with Lisa right now, but we are very grateful for everyone who has attended. We've had great attendance, wonderful questions, lots of congratulations. This will be on YouTube tomorrow, so we will have a link, and Lisa will have a link for that video on our YouTube channel. But if you have not ordered your copy, please go get it and grab a few for your friends as well. And those book clubs, any book clubs that you know at your local libraries or ones that you have in your homes, please, this book is a great suggestion. And the congratulations are still pouring in. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to say my own thank you for everyone who showed up today. This has been a long process. And I want to say a special thanks to Jean and her team at Creative James Media. Just had a wonderful experience through the editing and cover design and all the parts of publishing. Big call out to my family and friends and people who have supported me all along the way. Thank you so much.
We are excited that this book is out. So people are saying they can't wait to receive your book. I hope all the books arrive soon, and please show them around. The cover's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, we will see you in, yes. That is a gorgeous cover. I love the way it turned out.
I do too.
So nice. We will see you on Sunday when we have the launch party for Laura May's I See You in My Dreams. So we are very excited to bring that to you. And we wish everybody a warm, cozy night. I know that a lot of you may be in warm areas, but some of you may be in cold areas like I am. So I just wish everybody well tonight, and we will see you soon. And go buy Lisa's book.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.